All right. So before we move ahead with the session, anyone want to ask anything? Amit, Anurag, Ninad, Sagar.
No, sir.
All right. So I would request everyone to please mute yourself. Okay. So this is the second session for our Fyers API. In our last session, we have completed the first two files, that is login.py and profile.py. In login.py, I have shown you how to do the login step where we verify ourselves and we get the access token. Once you run this file, it will take you to the browser. You have to verify yourself. You have to copy the link, paste it on the terminal. Once you paste it on the terminal, it will create a new file and the file name will be access.txt. Okay, this is the first step before moving to the other steps. Once you have the access.txt, then you can run the other file that we are going to create today. So in the last session, I created with this profile.py where I am reading the credential from credentials.py file and getting the access token from access.txt file, right? So this starting code will be same for all the file that I will be creating in the coming sessions. So this is needed before you proceed with today's session. Okay, that is, you need to verify yourself and you need to get the access token. Now, once you have the access token, we have explored how we can get the current fund. This is one we have. This is something we have explored. We have also seen how we can get the order book. We have seen how we can get our position and how we can get our trade book. Now, what is the difference between all the three things? Order book is any order that you place, whether it is filled, unfilled, whether it is cancelled, everything you will get in this order book function. Once the order gets filled, it moves to your position. So that position, if you want to get, you need to call the position function. Now, uh, any order that you place, once it goes to the exchange, it is called a trade, right? So if you want to get that information, that you will get inside the trade book function. So what we are doing, we are simply calling the function. If we get some data, then we'll create a data frame out of it. Otherwise, we'll create an empty data frame, right? This is what we have seen in our last session. Today, we will start with historical data. And if we have enough time, we will move to either orders or we will move to WebSockets. So let's make another file. Let's call it 3.history.py. Now, as I told you, any file that you create, the first code will be same. So I'll just copy this and I will paste it here. What do we have here? First, we are importing the credential file, credentials.py file. Then we are importing the Fyers version 3 model. We are importing the pandas library. And from this credential, we are getting the client ID, secret key, and redirect URI. These are the three things we need. And from access.txt, we are reading the access token. So these are all the information that you have before you move ahead. Okay, now let's go to the documentation and try to understand how we can fetch historical data. So this is the page for the documentation. Now, if you scroll down on the left side, you'll find a section called Data API, right? Inside Data API, you'll find multiple sections. There is this history section, quotes, market depth, and option chain. We'll try to explore all of them today, right? So first is history. Now, when you click on history, you can read about it. The historical API provides the archive data up to date for the symbols across various exchange. So right now, I think Fire support 3 to 4 exchange, that is NSE, BSE, and MCX. Right now, the MCX market is open. We'll try to fetch for all the markets. Now, before you fetch any data, or if you even if you want to place order, or even if you want to uh, get real-time data from WebSocket, the first thing you should know is the ticker name, right? Now, if you go to their portal, now let's take an example of any ticker. Let's take Nifty 50 index. Now, this is the name of their index, right? But if you do a right click, you'll see their actual ticker name. This is the ticker name that is visible in front of you. But in Fyers, they save this ticker name as this. You see NSE colon Nifty 50 dash index. This is how they save the ticker name. Now, if you go to ONGC, if I click on ONGC and if I do a right click, you'll see this is the ticker name for ONGC, NSE colon ONGC dash EQ. So there are three components in each ticker name. First is the exchange. It could either be BSE, NSE, or MCX. Then there is a ticker name, right? And then at the end, you have the type of security. It can be EQ, it can be index, it can be future, it can be anything. Now, if you want to know more about it, you can just scroll down. In the extreme bottom, you'll find appendix, right? In appendix, you'll find all the information. So these are the three exchanges that they support: NSE, MCX, and BCX. And if you scroll down, you see they have given the example for symbols, right? For equity, this is how you have to make a symbol. Like you have to first specify the exchange, then you have to specify the symbol name, then you have to specify the series. Now here they have given some example like NSE colon SBI and dash EQ, then ACC, SBI, and these are the different example. Now let's try to do this. So in my Python file, I'll create two variable. One is exchange, which will be, let's say, NSE. Okay. Then last is series, right? Then I'll make another variable called, let's call it, we can call it, security type, sec type. Okay. So right now it is EQ. Then we will move to symbol. Let's say symbol is, let's say, TCS, or we can take, let's take SBIN. SBIN. Okay. So all the three things we have. First we have exchange, then we have symbol, then we have series. Now you have to create a ticker name, right? Now you can have a single symbol or you can have a list of symbols. So initially I'll show you for a single symbol. Later we'll deal with how we can deal with multiple symbols, right? Now how do you make a ticker? So ticker will be equal to, I'll use the concept of f string f. First there we have exchange, right? First we have exchange, then we have symbol, so colon symbol, then there is a dash, colon security type. Okay, now if I print this ticker, you'll see this is how the ticker will look like. Okay, NSE colon SBI and dash EQ. NSE colon SBI and dash EQ. Okay, now if you look at any other instrument, like if you look at future, this is how we create future, this is how we create an option. I'll come to this in few minutes. First, let me show you how you can fetch historical data for normal equity stock. So let's go back to API again, click on history. Now, if you click on Python, they have provided us with some sample code. So I'll just copy the code. So I've just copied the code, copy, and let's just paste it here. Okay, now let's try to understand each line of code. First, we are creating a Fyers object. This Fyers object is created by using the Fyers model class. So this Fyers model we have imported here. So you'll see in most of the cases, the first thing is you have to create a Fyers object. Okay, there is a Fyers model class. You have to create a Fyers object out of it. Once you have the Fyers object, then you can call the other function. If you remember in the last section, we have called functions like order book, position, then funds. These are the functions we have called on the Fyers object. Similarly, for historical data too, you have to call the history function. You have to take the Fyers object, you have to call the history function, and you have to send some data, right? And this is the data that you have to send. Let's try to analyze the data now. Now, the first thing is symbol. So I'll just keep it as it is for now. Then there is a resolution. Resolution as in what should be the granularity of the data. So we are fetching daily data. So if you want to know more about it, you can read the documentation. If you scroll down, the first is symbol. Then you have resolution. These are all the supported resolution. You can either write 5 second, 10 second, 30 second, 1. For minute, 1 minute you have to write 1. For day you have to write D or 1D. If you want 1 hour, you have to write 60 minutes. If you want 2 hour, you have to write 120. These are all the supported resolutions. And these needs to be in string. Okay. These are all the symbols supported and these are all the resolutions supported and it needs to be in string format. After that, you have date format. If you see this date format, it is saying date format is a Boolean flag, 0 to enter the epoch value and 1 to enter the date format. Now here they have specified 0. Right now, what is this 0 and 1? Now let me just explain it in more detail. What this date format is, it takes two arguments. Either you can write 0 or you can write 1. When you write 0, then you have to specify the epoch time. Now what is epoch time? Let me just quickly explain you that. Now in computer language, usually we create date time type of data. Okay, whenever you have a data which contain date and time, we call it date time data. Okay, whenever you have a data which contain date and time, we call it date time data. And usually this date time data exists in three format, in either of the three format. It either exists in string format, it either exists in epoch format, or it either exists in date time object format. Okay, so if you create a date time object by using date time class, we call it date time object. Now if there is a string, if I write a single string like 2024-01-01, then I'll write uh, 12 colon 03 colon 01. Now this is a string format. Okay, then there is another format called epoch format. Now in epoch format, what we do, we try to convert our string into a number. So it's an integer. Epoch is an integer. So we try to represent a date time in a number. And this epoch time increases every second. So after every second, the epoch number changes. And this epoch number starts from 1971. So from 1971, we are counting, I think 1971, I'm not sure that year, but somewhere around 1971, they started the counting and we are still continuing the counting every second, right? So if I go to Google and just search for epoch time, and if I go to the first link, you see this is the current epoch number. And this will keep increasing. After every second, the epoch increases. And you see, this is, if you take the epoch number, you can easily convert it into date time. So the reason why they created this epoch time is because they wanted a numeric representation of a date time. And epoch number is a solution. This is supported by all the computers. Okay. So if you want to specify a epoch number, so this you can call it epoch number, epoch time. So you have to write an integer, right? So if you write 0, it means you have to specify the epoch number. But if you write 1, it means you have to specify a string. And string format should be this. First, you have to specify year, then month, then date. Okay, this is what date format is. Then we have range. Now this range from and range to. So range from is you have to specify the start date, and range to is you have to specify the end date. Now if your format date is 0, you have to specify the epoch time. Okay, so if your date format is 0, you have to specify the epoch number. This is the starting epoch number, this is the ending epoch number. If you specify 1, you have to specify the string in this format. This is the starting string, this is the ending string. Okay, and then we have two more argument. Cont flag, which is set config flag 1 for continuous data and future option, and oi flag, set flag to 1 to enable oi as a part of the candle. So if you set this oi flag equal to 1, you will also get oi data along with the other data, that is open, high, low, close data. Okay, so I hope all the parameters are clear. Now let's try to call the function. Now before I call the function, I might have to do some changes. Let's see. So this is correct. D I can write. Now date format, now they have specified it needs to be integer. So let's change this to integer. So this, I'll change this to integer. I'm not sure. I'll just change it for now to integer. Then uh, range from and range to. Now these are the epoch number. Okay, wait. I want to specify the date in this format. So let's write 1. Okay, so I'll write this as 1. And this I'll change. Now I'll write the starting date and end date. Let's try to get the entire 2023 data. So I'll write 2023 dash 01 dash 01. Okay. Similarly, I'll specify the end range. So I want 2023 dash 12 dash 30. Then last is cont flag. This cont flag 1 for continuous. And you can specify the OI flag also. So let's specify OI flag also. I'm not sure if I'll get the OI. Okay, let me just run this much first. So let's run the code and see if I'm getting any output or not. If it shows me some error, I need to do some changes. So you see it is giving me data, and the data is in this format. See, there is a dictionary. Inside a dictionary, there is a key called candle, and this is the value. And inside this value, we have a list. Okay, the value is a list, and inside the list, we have multiple lists. This is the first list, then second list, then third list, then fourth list. Now, if I write comma, let's write OI also. Right now, see what are the data that I have. First, there is a epoch number. In a single list, there is a epoch number. Then I think this is the open price, high, low, close, and I think this is volume. So there are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values in a single list. Now I'm going to specify another argument, that is OI flag. So I'll write OI underscore flag. I have to specify one this way. This should be what? This should be integer. I think this you can specify either integer or string. It's fine. Both the things are specified as integer. Let's run the code again. You see, again, I'm getting the data, but I'm not sure if I have OI right now. So I have date. Okay. I don't have OI. I think I'll get OI for options. So let's just remove it for now. Okay. So now I have the historical data, but this historical data that I'm getting is not in a proper format. I want to convert it into a data frame, right? It's a normal list of list. I can easily convert it into a data frame. How to convert it? So first I need the list of list. So how can I get the list of list? I can just write history df is equal to pd dot data frame and response square bracket candles, because this candles is a key and value is this. Let me just print this history df now. You can see I just converted this list of list into a data frame. So here I have the date column. This is the date column, which is in epoch format. Then I have open, high, low, close, and volume. Okay. Now there are a few more things I need to change here. That is, first thing, I need to give the column name. Right now it is 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the first thing I have to do. Second is I need to change this epoch number into a normal date time data, because this epoch number is hard to deal with. And then I might also want to convert this epoch number. I also want to set this epoch, this date as my index. Right. These are few things that I might want to do. So let's try to do this. So I have already written the code for this. So if you go to my historical.py, I'll just copy paste the code. Okay, let's try to understand what I have done here. So first, I need to create a column, list of columns. So these are the column name. First I have date, then open, high, low, close, volume. These are all the column name that I want. So I'll just write history df dot columns equal to this. So it will make this as my column name. Let me just print history df again. Okay, so this will make this will change the column name. So you see, now I have a new data frame where the column name is date, open, high, low, close, volume. Then I'm converting this epoch column, which is date, into a date time object. So this line will do it for me. Okay, so I'll write history df square bracket date is equal to pd dot to date time, history df square bracket date, unit is equal to s. S means second, because this epoch number is in second, right? So let's run it again. Now you'll see the column will be converted into a date time object. See, this is date time. So I have 2023 01 02 2023 101 03. So this is daily data. So I'm getting from 1 to till 12/29. So in the beginning of the year in 2023, the price started from 614. By the end of the year, it reached 645. Now let's try to get minute level data. Okay. Now to get minute level data, you need to write one. Okay, you just need to write one here. So I'll just change this D to 1. And getting 1 year of minute data is too much, right? So let's try to get only 1 month of minute data. So what I'll do, instead of writing 12, I'll write 02. So I want from 2023 0101 to 2023 0202. And let's try to change the symbol name also. Let's try to get for TCS. So now I'll just change this to TCS. Okay, now let's run the same code again. It is throwing an error. It is saying, if you read the error, it is saying date timestamp need to be range from Format range greater than range this. This is from, this is to. Invalid input. I think I've written something wrong. Let's write this 12. Let's look at resolution again. Resolution needs to be in string, and I just have to write 1. This is also correct. Date format is also correct. Let me just run it again. Monthly, month, day. Okay, let's look at the format of the date. It is YYYYMMDD, right? This is, I'll just write, let's write 02. And this will be, let's have it as 30. Oh, correct. In Feb, we don't have 30, right? Yeah, my bad. So let's write 25. Okay, so let's run it again. Yes, now I'm getting the data, and I want you to notice the number of column. Sorry, number of rows. The number of rows that I get just for 2 months of data is 1464. Total 14,000 rows I'm getting. Right, and you can look at the uh, date column also. So it's better. I've named it date. That's fine. So you can see it is showing 345, 346. Right? Can anyone tell me why it is showing me 345, 346? Anyone? Why it is not showing 915, 916? This is because the time zone that they are using is different. I think this is UTC time zone. So we need to convert the time zone. So this line of code that I've written, it will change the time zone. So if you have a date time data and if you want to change the time zone, this is how you do it. You take the column that is historydf.date.dt. You call the tz localize function UTC. It will convert it into UTC, and then it will convert it into Asia Kolkata. So this line 40 is simply changing the time zone. If I run the same code again, now you will see the date will look different. You see, now it starts from 915, 916. And you can see this plus 530, this plus 530 represent it's a uh, IST time zone. Okay. Then if you want, you can remove this. If you don't want this plus 530, you can run this line of code. This line of code will remove that plus 530. And then at the end, if you want, you can make your history df as your index. So if I write history df dot set index, I want date to be the index. Now you see there is no plus 530 here. This line 41, remove the time zone, and this will make date as my index. Okay, so this is the entire code. If you run this code, you can actually fetch any level of data. You see, it is giving me from here to here, and date is my index. This is very important. Whenever you have any candle data, you should make your date column as your index, date time column as your index. Now let's play with a little. So now I'll use these 3 things. So I'll just write ticker. Instead of writing a string, I'll write ticker. Okay. And I'll just change the symbol name. Let's try. Let's try ONGC. So I'll write here ONGC. I don't have to change these 2 things for now. So if I run this code, it will give me ONGC from this date to this date. Let's change the date. What we can do, we can use 2024. So I'll write 2024 now. This is 2024 and this is 2024. So you see, this is ONGC data. Now I'll run the same code for 2024 first month to second month. You see, you instantly get the data. Now keep in mind, whenever you're fetching low granularity data, low resolution data, try not to fetch lot of data at a single go. If you try to fetch an entire year of data in a single API call, server need to send a lot of data, right? And that might not go through. It might take a lot of time or it might not go through. So try to fetch little data at a time. That is maybe 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, maybe 5 month of data. Try not to fetch too much data in a single API call. Okay, you can see this is 2024-01. and the last is 2024 to 23. Now this from and to, here we can also use the date time library. Okay, what we can do, we can use the date time library. I'll show you how to use that. So along with pandas, I'll import date time as dt. Okay, I've imported the date time library. What I'll do, my to range, this to, first I'll make a current date, a variable called current date. So this is current date is equal to dt dot date time dot now. This will give me the current time. Okay, uh, if you want we can convert it, but let it be. I'll maybe convert it later. This is my current time, this is the current date, and I'll change this range to current date. And this range from, what I'll do, I'll write current date minus, I'll use time delta. I'll write dt dot time delta. I'll write day is equal to, let's say I want last 30 days of data, so I'll write 30. So my range, the last date is the current date, and my starting date is 30 days minus the current date. So in short, now I'll get the last 30 days worth of data. Okay, let's try to run this code and see if I get the output. It is throwing an error. It is saying invalid error. Now why it is showing invalid? Because you have to specify the date in this format, that is YYYYMMDD. So what we can do, we can use the function. So I'll write dot strf time dot strf time. I have to specify first year, right? So I'll write inside a string, you'll write percentage %y, that is year. Then dash, I think it is capital Y. I'll check it later. Then we want to write date. So it is, I think, percentage %d. I'll just copy it. Why to write it if I already have it? Mm, I think even this should work. I have to specify date format as one. I think even this will work. Let me just try it again. Move this. Remove this. dt dot today time delta. Okay. So I don't have to use the now function. I have to use the today function. So I'll write here dt dot date dot today. This is my current date, right? This is what I have to do. And yeah, this is good to go. The time delta duration. I'll just run it one more time. This I'll write it inside string. See, I'm getting the current data. So what I did, instead of using the date time class, I used the date class. So this is my start date, this is my end date. So you see, this is last 30 days of data. The starting date is 8/27, the last date is 9/26, which is today's date. Okay, so you don't have to convert it into a date time into a string format. Even if you don't convert it into string format, you'll still get the data. Now let's try to get the data for an index. Let's say I want Nifty 50 data. So this is Nifty 50 index. So if I do a right click, this is the symbol name. So I have to write Nifty 50, and at the end I have to write index. So this will be Nifty 50 and this will be index. Okay, two things you have to change. Now I'll run the same code. I should get Nifty 50 data now. You see, this is Nifty data. Uh, in the beginning of the year, like in 2024, 827, the price was 25024, and today closing price is 26184. Now, the good thing about this function is at any point of time, if you run this, it will give you the latest candle data. Okay, that I'll show you in few minutes. Any doubt in this, anyone? How do we get historical data? Okay. So now I've created a function which is fetch OHLC. What this function will do, the same code I have written. This function will simply take three arguments: ticker name, interval, and duration. Let's say you want 10 days, 50 days, 100 days. You just specify the duration, it will give you the data. Okay, and now you just have to call the function. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste it. So this is the function fetch OHLC. We'll directly use it into our code. You just have to specify the ticker name. I already have the ticker name. I'll remove this. Then you have to specify the interval, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and you have to specify how many days you want. Let's say I want 30 days, so I'll write 30 days. The same code I've written, nothing different I've written here. I'll just comment this. So the same ticker name I'm taking. This is the ticker name. Okay, let's run the same code again. You'll see it will give me 1 minute, 30 days of data. So it is giving me 1 minute, 30 days of data. Let's say you want Bank Nifty data. What you will do? You just need to change the symbol name. This will be, what's the ticker name for Bank Nifty? It is Nifty Bank. So I have to write here Nifty Bank. Let's say I want 15-minute data. So I just need to change this to 15. 15 minute, let's say I want 100 days of data. So I'll write here 100. 15 minute, 100 days of data. If I run it, it will give me 15 minute, 100 days of data. You see 6:18, 9:15 till 15:15. Okay. This is now, see, in index you don't get volume. So that's why volume is 0. So all you need to do is change this. That's it. I'll just copy this. I'll just paste it here. Now you simply have a function. You just need to change these argument and you can get any type of historical data. Now I'll tell you the problem with this function. This function will get you data, but if you try to fetch lot of data, like let's say you want 5 years of 1 minute data, in that case, this function will not work. Why? Because in a single API call, you cannot get a lot of data. So what we do, we write a for loop. We'll write a loop. Let's say you want 5 years of data. So I'll fetch 60 days at a time. First 60 days, then next 60 days, then next 60 days, right? After fetching all the 60 days of data, I'll merge the data frame and I'll give you the final data frame. So this I've already done it for you. So I've created another function, which is get history. Now in this, I've written a while loop. Okay, here you have to specify the duration. Here you can specify as much duration as you want. Let's say you want 3000 days of data. So you write 3000. So this function will give you 3000 days of data. All I've done is I've written a while loop, which will just loop through from start date till the end date, and it will increase it by 60 days. First 60 days, then 60 days, then 60 days. You can go through it. It's not that difficult. Once you run this, you'll get a data frame. I'll just show you how it looks like. So I'll just copy this function. Now this function you can use for backtesting. If you want to backtest any strategy, you can use this function, get as much historical data as you want, and you can backtest it by using your backtesting engine. Now keep in mind that this will take time. This function is going to make multiple API call, so you won't be able to get it instantly. I'll do one more thing. I'll just comment this code for now, the code that we have written. Okay, I've commented everything. We are running this function first, and then we are running this function. Let's run the code. First we'll get First, we'll get 15 days. See, this is 15-minute data for Bank Nifty. Now, it's calling this get history function. It will take some time, but eventually you'll see I'll get 3000 days of data. 3000 days means how many years? Around somewhere around 9 years. You can see I've got 9 years of data. The starting date is 2017 and ending date is 2024. And look at the number of rows. There are 6 lakhs rows. And this is 1 minute data. 9, 14, 15, 16. This is 1 minute data. 9 lakh rows we have. You see, 10 years back, Bank Nifty was at 25,000. Now it is 54,000. Not 10 years, like 8 years, I think. 8 years back. Okay, now I don't know how much far away you can go. There might be some limitation. But yeah, if you want to fetch a lot of data, this is one way of fetching that lot of data. Okay, now keep in mind in this get history function, you just have to specify the ticker name, because inside this function, I'm already creating the symbol. See, I'm creating NSE, then symbol, then type. Type also you have to specify index. And then you specify how many days of data you want. This is fetching 1 minute data. If you want to change, you have to change inside the function. You have to change this data format, date format. Change this 1 to 15, you'll get 15 minutes of, let's say, 10 years of data. You can change it as per your requirement. So these are the two functions that you can use in any code you want. Okay, so let's explore a bit more. Now I have only fetched for equity and index. Let's try to fetch for option. Okay, now if you take any option contract, you should know how to create an option contract. Let's take an example of Bank Nifty. So I'll do a right click and I'll click on option chain. So the nearest expiry that I have is 1st of October. So I'll just take this contract. So this is the contract, Bank Nifty 24 October 01544400C. So if you do a right click, you'll see the contract name. NSE, then this is the name. You have Bank Nifty 24, then there is O011550CE. This is the contract name. Right? Let's try to copy this. So what I'll do, let's say I want 15 minutes of data for, let's say, 5 days. Okay, I want 15 minutes of data for last 5 days. I just need to change the ticker name. So I'll make a new ticker variable. I'll write ticker is equal to. Now I just need to copy this thing. So initially we have NSE, then there is a colon, then Bank Nifty, then you have 24O, so 24O, I think this is O. Then you have 01, then you have 544, then you have 0000, then CE. Okay, so I just copied the contract name. I'll explain you how to create this later, but for now I've just copied it. Let's see if I can get 15 days of, I can get 5 days of 15-minute data for this contract. Now the problem might be that, do I have 5 days of data? Yes, I do have 5 days of data. So let's run the code. So you can see I've got 5 days of data for this option contract. So you can see the last price is 260 and you can see last price is 260. And this is what 15 minutes of data. Now let's try the OI also. So if you want OI, you just need to do one small change. You need to write here comma, colon, 1. What I have to do? I have to write OI flag. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So let's run the code. Now I should get OI. Okay, now one more thing I have to change. I have to write here OI also. OI. Now you see I'm getting OI also. OI, this is the OI column. 15-minute OI. Okay, so I'm removing the OI for now. Okay, let me keep it as it is. Okay, I have to remove it. I just wanted to show you. But yeah, if you want OI, so you have to do one small change. You have to write OI flag colon 1. And here you have to add another column of OI. You can make it more dynamic. I'm not doing it. If you want, you can do it. Now, what about future? Let's take a look at future also. Let's take gold contract. Okay, so I have a future contract. This is gold October future. Let's say I want historical data for this. So I'll do a right click. The symbol name is this MCX gold 24 October future. So I'll okay, I'll change this. First, you have to specify MCX colon. You have gold. You have 24 October, 24 October. Then you have future. This is how you can specify the future contract. If I run the code, you'd get some data. I think even here I might have OI. Let's see. Okay, so here also I'm getting OI data, and I want you to look at the last row. Last row is 1845. That is 6:45 right now. If I fetch for 1 minute data, so I'll change this to 1. Instead of 15, I'll change this to 1. So I want 1 minute data for last 5 days, and I'll run the code. You'll see it will give me the last minute data also. Right now it is 6:49, and the last candle is 18:49. The moment the time changes to 6:50, you'll see it will give me another candle data. 6:50, 18:50 row will also be there. Right now it is 18:49. In few seconds it will be 18:50, so I'll see the another row also. Okay, so this is the good thing about this function. It gives you the latest candle data. You can use this function even in the live market, because you'll see the data the moment it exists after 1 second. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's it for the historical data part. Is there anything else anyone want to know in this? Okay, now it is 6:50. So if I run the same code, it will give me 18:50 also. You see, last is 18:50. You can see volume is 0. Why is this? Okay. Now, the next section after history is quotes. So I think I have explained everything in history. Let's move to quote. Now, quote is similar to history, but quote gives you the snapshot data of any ticker. Now, I cannot use this quote function on an instrument which is inactive right now. So I cannot use it on any of the NSE stock. I can only use it on this future contract. So I'll show you how it looks like when I call it on a future contract. So I already have the ticker name. Okay, I have the ticker name. I'll copy this. I'll paste it here. So this is quote. I again go to Python. I'll copy the quote function. That's it. So when you are using the quote function, you can specify multiple symbol by writing comma. Okay, you can write comma and specify as many symbol name as you want. For now, I'm just going to specify one single ticker name, and I'll run the function. And you see, this is the type of data you get in return. Whenever you call the quote function on any instrument, this is the type of data you get. First, you'll get the name of the ticker. You'll get the basic bid ask. So this is bid, this is ask, this is change in price, I guess. This is description, exchange, FY token, the high price, the low price, the LP means last price. You have open price, you have original name, you have previous close price, you have short name, you have spread, you have symbol, you have time, volume. These are all the things you will get. Now this will change from ticker to ticker. If you call the same uh, for an option contract, you'll get a little more data. If you call the same for a equity stock, you'll get different type of data. So this data will vary from ticker to ticker, but this gives you the latest data for any ticker if the ticker is active. So if you run the same function in a live market, if you don't want to use the history function, but you still want to get basic information about a ticker, so you use the quote function. Okay, see, getting the last price of a ticker at any instance, one of the best way to get is by using the quote function. Okay, by using quote function, you can get basic information, which is quite useful. You can use it in your algo trading strategies. Then what else we have? Now here, can I get an option chain? See, if I do a right click and if I click on option chain, I do get an option chain. So I'm not sure if I will get, but I can try to fetch option chain for this instrument. So after code, they have market depth, and after market depth, they have option chain. So let me just try option chain first, then I'll try the market depth. I'll copy this. This is option chain. So you just need to specify the ticker name, ticker, strike count. You have to specify the strike count, how many strike count you want. Let's take a look at the response first, and then maybe I'll change the code a bit if required. This is also not needed. You see, I am getting the option chain data, and this is how the option chain data looks like. So first you have code 200, then there is data, call OI, expiry date. These are the list of expiry days you have. Then you have India Wix data. They are giving India Wix data also. Then this is where the option chain start. So I'll try to convert it into a data frame now. So I'll take this option chain data, copy this. So I'll write chain equal to pd dot data frame. So I have to go in data. In data, I have to go to option chain. Print chain. Let's see if I get the option chain or not. You see, this is how the option chain looks like. Most of the data is nan or zero. But if you try to do it on some active option like maybe Nifty or Bank Nifty, you'll get data for all the rows. Okay, you can see OI change, a lot of things we have. The last is bid ask, not bid ask, sorry, the market depth. Now, market depth is for complicated strategies. You get a list of more in-depth data of bid and ask. So if you want to know more about what type of response you get, like in case of quote, if you want, so these are all the data you get. So first is S, then there is CH means change value, CHP means percentage of change between the current value and the previous day's market value. You get last traded price, difference between the lowest asking and the highest bidding price, spread. So these are all the things you get in return. So you can just read about it. If you want any data from here, you can easily get it. Similarly, if I scroll down, if I look at the market depth, these are all the things that I get in market depth. I get total buy quantity, total sell quantity. I get the bids, list of ask. I get the O price, opening price, highest price, lowest price, price at the market closing, percentage of change between the current value, minimum price, change value, last traded quantity, last traded time, last traded price, volume traded, average traded price, low circuit. Now, this might be helpful for complicated strategy like what is your low circuit, upper circuit. These data directly comes from the exchange itself. What is the expiry date? What is the open interest? What is the OI flag? Uh, Previous day open interest. You get a change in open interest percentage. So if you want any of this data for your strategy, so you need to call this function. If you don't, then you don't have to call this. Okay. So keep in mind that quote gives you basic data and market depth gives you more detailed data. Okay. So this is what you have to remember. So let's try the market depth also. Copy. paste. I'll change the ticker name. Let's try SBN. I don't think I'll get any data, but let's see. Because the market is closed, so I won't get any data for market depth. Oh, I'm getting the data, but all the values are 0. You can see all of them are majorly 0. But if I try for the current ticker, it will give me some value. See, this is the market depth for the given ticker. I don't know, for some reason, most of the thing is 0. Like volume is 1, this is 1. Maybe it's not that active, that's the reason. But I do get some value like upper circuit, lower circuit, LTP, all those things I get. So these are the 4 major data API that they have. We have market depth, we have option chain, we have quote, and then we have history function. Okay, these are all the available options that you have if you want data. If you want an API call data from Fyers broker. Now there is one more way of getting the data, that is real-time data. That is called WebSocket, which we'll discuss later. So in our next session, we'll either cover the orders or we'll cover the WebSocket. WebSocket will take less time. Orders will take more time because we have lots of orders to cover. So maybe we'll go with orders in our next session. Okay. After completing the orders and the WebSocket, then we can move to strategy building. So these are the 4 important components that you need to explore when you deal with any broker. First is you need the account level information. Then you need data. So majorly you need only historical data. If you have market depth, a code, then that's better. Then orders, basic order like limit order, market order, stop order. And then last WebSocket where you get real-time data from the broker itself.